You can feel that the police, teachers, psychologists, etc. do not love this society. The media here, like the Chinese media, dare not report the dark side of their society and do not want to make their society better. Do you think that government officials in a rule of law country really have the idea of rule of law? Only by being good at deceiving and harming others, you can get more money and power. The richer, more powerful, and more high-class people are, the lower their morals and the more they enjoy the desire for power. On 30th of October 2022, in order to earn some living expenses in my spare time from studying, I brought an e-bike from the lithium bicycle shop in Burwood, Sydney, which have opened for several years. The store claims that e-bike complies with Australian law and also provides a legal test report. Paradoxically, this ordinary thing laid the groundwork for a series of existential or tragic events that happened later. These things also revealed a corner of the dark side of Australia. On 28th of December 2022, I was stopped by the police. The police said that my e-bike was illegal. For example, it exceeded the legal speed of 25 km per hour, etc. It would be considered a motorcycle and face a huge fine. The first time was just a warning, and the next time there would be a fine. I went back to the store, and the clerk told me that it must be legal and gave me a PDF version of the inspection report, which I could show to the police next time. If the police do not approve of the report, they will sue the police to defend the reputation of their store. The clerk said it to my face, and there were also WeChat chat records, misleading me to think that there was no problem. But when the incident really happened, it was not fulfilled and all responsibilities were set aside. Moreover, in fact, the report was also a forged qualified report. Forging a fake report can be sentenced to up to 10 years in prison. On 13th of October 2023, after being stopped by the police this time, the police issued me 5 tickets about $3,000. I contacted the store again, and this time they cleared all relations and I had to bear all the consequences myself. After I argued with them, they agreed to help me get a new e-bike, an e-bike that complies with Australian law. Originally, they said righteously that there would be no problem and they would help me go to court if there was any problem, but what they said was not true. Moreover, they changed to a legal e-bike, which means that they themselves admitted that it was illegal before. I fell into PTSD and major depression because of this. After I took the initiative to pay the fine to the Transport of New South Wales, I was mistakenly notified that I had accumulated 33 driving demerit points, and my driver's license was suspended for several months. Although the department later corrected the mistake, the mental damage was already serious. From then on, all plans were disrupted, and I could only passively take one step at a time. Due to a series of unfair experiences, I followed the reasonable channels of Australia and sought help from shops, Transport of New South Wales, psychologists, schools, and judicial departments many times. However, the mistakes and inaction of these institutions further aggravated my psychological pressure. For details about shops, Transport of New South Wales, psychologists, schools, and judicial departments, if you are interested, you can watch the full version of the subsequent video, which is also equally dark. Because I could not see any hope, I also tried to commit suicide by fasting for 10 days, including not drinking water for several days. And I also had dozens of self-abuse behaviors. On 8th of October 2023, during the security check stage of entering the court, I was found to have a 5-centimeter art knife in my wallet. After registering my identity, I was allowed to enter the court by the trial as normal. After the trial, the police found me again to deal with the issue of the 5-centimeter art knife. The interpreter was still around. I explained that it was convenient to unpack after shopping in the supermarket, and it could also protect me in an emergency. Because I was in a bad mental state recently, I forgot to take it out when I went out. When the security check was abnormal, I also remembered that I should not carry an art knife. I asked the police twice in person what the possible consequences were, and the interpreter also helped to translate. The police did not answer, and I thought it was just a warning this time. After more than 10 days, I suddenly received another notice that I needed to pay a $550 fine and check whether I could still drive, which was inconsistent with the situation on the 8th. Moreover, I was suffering from PTSD and major depression at the time. I had been on a hunger strike for 10 days. I didn't even drink water for a few days, and my mental state was very bad. Moreover, the police changed their mind and fined me even though they knew I was suffering from major depression. It might be because the police could get pleasure from torturing people. There was only one injury, but they deliberately divided it into two to increase my pain. Moreover, I asked twice in person, couldn't the police explain it in person? Or they could say that the details are not yet certain and they will notify me in a few days so that I can be mentally prepared. It would also have less impact on me than suddenly stabbing me in the back after more than 10 days. Do they have to wait? Do they have to wait until I succeed in suicide before the police end the action? Moreover, the public place mentioned in the fine notice is a school, but in fact it is a court, which is inaccurate. The ticket mentioned my last name as Tiam, but it was actually Jiang. This mistake prevented me from going through the process of applying for a Work and Development Order (WDO), which was finally approved on 16 October 2023. The police had known about this store for a long time and knew that they sold illegal e-bikes. When I was stopped by the police for the first time, before we even started talking, the police recognized that the e-bike had been purchased in Burwood. Moreover, in further communication, the police told me a collusion that shocked me very much, that is, all e-bikes on the road are illegal. The police knew that the e-bikes sold by the store could not be ridden on public road, but they did nothing and did not even remind new customers, allowing things to deteriorate, resulting in at least 95%. The police said more absolutely, 100%, all of the e-bikes on the road being illegal, and let me fall into this trap. Even I can think of a way. If the buyer wants to take the e-bike home, it is illegal to ride it as soon as he leaves the store. In this case, send 1 or 2 policemen to squat near the store every day, and one person can find nearly $3,000, easily exceeding $10,000 a day. What other work is easier than this? And the key is that it is completely legal. And the police did not mention anything about the driver's license points on 13th of October 2023, let alone driver's license suspension. There is another detail. Because my English is not very good, I want to take pictures of the titles of the 5 fines so that I can see the situation in advance. But the police are very impatient and are unwilling to wait for 10 seconds. Just let me go home and wait for the email. It is very ironic that when the first event to promote traffic regulations and the legal e-bikes to the delivery man was held in September 2023, the police and the council specifically selected and endorsed this store. Another event was held with this store in September 2024. I don't know what kind of collusion of interests they have internally. On 4th of September 2023, the e-bikes they displayed at the event were in compliance with Australian law. But after the event ended until I went to their store a month or 2 ago, they were still selling illegal e-bikes. Moreover, on 13th of April 2023, It was an obvious act of discrimination. The police did not handle other similar people. Moreover, even if they were riding e-bikes, those local teenagers did not wear helmets and deliberately made dangerous, provocative, and potentially hurtful actions on the sidewalk and next to the police. The police pretended not to see it and continued to talk to the police on the opposite side. No different from communist China. Australian police also bully the weak and fear the strong, and selectively enforce the law. If the police are in a bad mood or don't like someone one day, they can stop others on the road at will. Let them pay a fine and enjoy the pleasure of superior power. There are many obvious violations on the road and driving behaviors that may endanger life, but the police don't care. And the police themselves also make illegal driving behaviors, and they don't find themselves. Instead of solving the problem from the source and forming a better social environment, the police endorsed them and allowed the environment to deteriorate. They selectively dealt with whoever touched the bottom line of the law. When society indulges bad people and allows bad things to happen, causing victims to break the law, so is it that the society itself has not fulfilled its due responsibilities? This is the most basic value. Because the police made many obvious and serious mistakes, I complained to the police through the Law Enforcement Conduct Commission on 18th of October 2023. I described many reasons, but for some reason, the LECC that supervises the police did not directly investigate, but let the police investigate their own problems. The result is that the police directly hung up the phone and refused to communicate and deal with the problem. Then I complained to the LECC through the Office of the Inspector of the LECC. The OILECC that supervises the LECC also did nothing and found a very bad excuse to refuse to deal with it. So I said that there's no much difference between Australia and communist China. The written laws look beautiful and uphold fairness and justice. When it comes to the implementation level, I don't know what it was distorted into. Moreover, the country spent a lot of money and resources to support many departments that are not very useful. On the surface, it seems that some things have been done, but in fact, it has not promoted society much. Because this store has obvious deception, misleading behavior, and forged a fake compliance report, I also complained through fair trading. However, fair trading did not resolve the dispute. The store did not admit that it had a problem and used some lies to shut up fair trading. Victory's strategy is to handle the dispute through the higher level, New South Wales Civil and Administrative Tribunal, and CAT. I have not yet gone through this process, and there are still 10 months left. However, because this is only for the trade dispute itself, the most compensation is a traffic fine of more than $2,000. But there is also the item of forging a fake compliance report which cannot be judged fairly. Even if you just want to get a sincere apology, you have to spend countless efforts. The store said he was right. The road police said he was right. The Transport of New South Wales said he was right. The psychologist said she was right. The school said she was right. And the court police said he was right. But facts speak louder than words, and justice will prevail. Justice will prevail. I originally wanted to get a fair trial based on the store forging a fake compliance report, which should be punished by up to 10 years in prison. However, after I learned the specific process, I still fell into despair. First, I have to report the case to the police and wait for the police to check and decide whether to sue them before proceeding with the subsequent process. But the most critical first step, due to the good relationship between the store and the police attitude of turning big problems into small ones, may not be able to go through the prosecution process at all. In addition, criminal prosecution itself is a very complicated matter. I don't understand it very well. My English is not good, my mental state is not good, and I don't have financial support, etc. So tired. We may have some beautiful fantasies about the police, teachers, psychologists, etc., but in fact, you can feel that they don't love this society. They are even worse than ordinary people and have no basic professional qualities. I also sent it to the 7 most influential media in Australia, hoping that they would report it. I sent it once a week for almost 4 months. However, the media here, like the Chinese media, dare not report the dark side of their society. There are few conscientious journalists who do not want to make their society better. Do you think that government officials in a rule of law country really have the idea of rule of law? Do they say words of fairness and justice but actually do things that violate fairness and justice? This is very ironic. They are moving towards communism. Australia is the same as communist China. Good people are deceived and bullied, and it is not easy to survive. People have to be more vigilant, and bad money drives out good money in society. Only by being good at deceiving and harming others can you get more money and power. Is this the value embodied by the so-called Christian country? after a period of time, a bad atmosphere will be formed. Is this a better future? It is the same in all countries. The poorer, less powerful, and the lower class people are kinder, have no bad intentions, and are willing to help others. The richer, more powerful, and higher class people are, the lower their morals and the more they enjoy the desire for power.